The latest number of deaths in the UK is higher than any daily total reported by either Italy or Spain. A very sad reality indeed. But does that mean we'll ultimately fare worse than those countries? This is how the total number of deaths around the world have been rising since the crisis began. As you can see, the numbers still growing there. But it's difficult to compare the rates at which they're rising using these lines. So let's show you that same data in what we call a logarithmic chart. This essentially allows us to look at the speed of growth. So at first, those lines rising quite steeply there, and in recent days, levelling off a little. I just want to draw your attention to France. It's the pink line there. It's the only European country to have reported more than 1,000 deaths in a day. Look how it's now peaking up above Italy there. This matters because our daily jumps are not far off. But there is some hope amidst a very dark picture because so far it looks like we're bending our curve slightly below where Italy is there and therefore also below where France is. So from late March till early April, the number of deaths was doubling every 3 days. If that had continued, we'd be looking at a total of 15,000 deaths at this stage. Earlier this week, that slowed to doubling roughly every 4 days. You can see the line slightly less steep there. And in the past few days, that rate of growth slowed again to doubling every 5 days. Now, politicians say this is good news, but sadly, we may still be some way off the peak of this crisis. Here are the numbers of daily deaths that have been reported. That latest figure, 980, the highest yet. And if we look at that same data in a slightly different format, there are some worrying trends. The bars here, they represent the number of deaths, and the line there shows the expected growth according to the trend since the start of April. Because the rate of death has slowed slightly, that line is shallower than it was. But even at that slower rate, we could still be recording a daily total of 1,000 deaths a day before the end of the Easter weekend. As I said, the only other European country to do that is France. We have to remember that the experts have said that lockdown would take 3 weeks to impact the number of deaths. The next week or so will be crucial.